Guys, it's been a minute since a teen dystopian film has come out, which is kind of crazy considering how popular they were in the 2010s, with films such as The Hunger Games, The Maze Runner, and Divergent. But the genre met its demise when the market for these films became so oversaturated with not only sequels to those aforementioned three, but all these other films that wanted in on what I like to call the teen dystopian book to teen dystopian movie pipeline, which of course means there ended up being a lot of stinkers. Like, do you ever hear anyone talking about The Fifth Wave or Mortal Instruments City of Bones? No, because they're too busy talking about my new movie, The Jongleur 2. It also could be that the Mortal Instruments City of Boners has an entire subplot where Emily in Paris does incest. Needless to say, towards the end of this genre's life cycle, the very audience that it was targeting had not only grown up, they were over watching things that were mediocre and or incestual. So it was a little surprising when just last month, Netflix decided to dip its little toes back into City with The Uglies. Now, when I first heard they were adapting a teen dystopian book into a movie in this ass year of 2024, I was kind of excited, but unfortunately, it became very clear that this wasn't going to be the second coming of Katniss Everdeen or Dylan O'Brien when he's confused. No. We cannot have nice things because The Uglies has been described as the full-length film version of the TikTok bold glamour filter. I mean, look at these reviews. What in the TikTok bold glamour filter? Why do all the pretties look like they have the bold glamour filter on? A world where being pretty means that you have to wear the bold glamour filter on at all times. Sounds like hell. And a quel filtro do TikTok? I don't know what that last one means, but I'm kinda sure that we're talking about TikTok. So, The Uglies book was published in 2005 by Scott Westerfeld, and it's about a dystopian society that forces you to get state-mandated yassification surgery at the age of 16. And before this surgery, you're considered an ugly, hence the on-the-nose title. And the traits of the pretty people in this movie are: number 1, the face app blurring tool; number 2, extensions from Sally's; 3, buckle fat removal; and 4, scary eyes like that one picture of Miley Cyrus. You know which one, but more violent. In other words, no one above the age of Gugu or Gaga can take this seriously. Now, this movie began filming in December of 2021, but due to reshoots, it ended up rearing its ugly little head just a few weeks ago. And oh boy, is the timing poetic on this, considering Joey fucking King, Miss Kissing Booth herself, is not only the main character, but a producer in a movie called The Uglies in 2024. Stay with me, let me cook. According to this Variety article, it's odd that Joey King is the main character in a movie called Uglies. But to me, it's not really that crazy. And don't get me wrong, I don't think Joey King is ugly looking, despite this gif from the Oscars where she looks absolutely nuts, methy, and toothless. No, she's pretty, but her soul is demented and cursed. Every time I see her, my aura levels flatline, and I wonder if I should call a doctor to my house, have open heart surgery, or just give my information to a MILF less than 5 miles away. Because apparently, she has posted some things online. So we do not like her. But thankfully, that makes the Uglies, an already doomed flop of a film, even easier to make fun of. Before we get into the contents of the movie itself though, picture this. I'm the tiredest I've ever been in my whole life, and I'm trying to read an article about Shane Dawson. I have a video to do. Time is a ticking. But I click on this article and what happens? Boom. I get hit with like 12 different ads for stuff that's not even supposed to be there. Like, I don't know, a 6-foot-long Hayden Christensen body pillow? Even though I don't even know what that is? Point blank, ads are annoying and distracting. But luckily, today's sponsor, Pi.org, had an easy solution. Pi.org is an ad blocker that sweeps away all those random pop-ups faster than you can say, "Show me your cookies." Which actually brings me to my next point: no more cookie pop-ups. Stop letting websites collect your information. That's like the whole reason why when you look something up one time, you see ads for it for the rest of your life. But you know what my actual favorite part of Pi is? It's not the key lime, okay? It's this thing called visual mode. And it actually allows you to watch all of those body pillow ads disappear right before your eyes. It even shows you what percentage of space they've saved you on the page. And it's not only all of this. Pi also has a rewards option that you can enable, and using it, you can literally earn cash back for seeing a limited number of Pi approved ads. So if you want a genuinely better, distraction-free internet experience, it's super easy. Just go to pi.org/NikkiKiryan and click add to Chrome. From there, just a few more steps to complete the setup. And don't forget to add the Pi Shopping Companion extension for coupons, cashback, and rewards. Finally, pin both extensions to your toolbar and voila! Check out Pi.org. It's amazing. It's free. Thank you so much to Pi.org for sponsoring me today, and now back to the video. With all that being said, let's talk about the movie itself. Just like in the book, it follows the main character, Tally, and it begins with her explaining that she lives in a world where the Earth's resources have been exhausted by overconsumption.
Hundreds of years ago, people became overly reliant on fossil fuels.
And because of that, people broke out into chaos and war. And so scientists had to create a new renewable energy source using genetically modified white tiger orchids, which went over fine and dandy. However, that didn't fix humans and their primal behaviors.
People's differences continue to create classes, clans, countries.
I understand class divide, but why is it bad to have a country or even a clan? France? Thumbs down. IKEA?
Get out!
But anyways, she continues on about another team of scientists who developed a radical solution to conflict.
So they came up with a radical solution: the transformation.
Is the solution to give everyone a gymnastics potion? Honestly, if everyone could do backflips like this, the world would be a better place. Look at this absolute Chad doing a 40-inch vert cliff jump, nollie half calf into the ocean. But these scientists were led by someone named Dr. Cable, and she proposed that the root of all conflict is our differences. So for example, to fight discrimination, her solution is to make everyone look the same through plastic surgery, which may or may not just be yassified eugenics, because it seems like the author of this book and the director of the Uglies film are both hung up on not addressing the racist elephant in the room, because obviously the most obvious origin of a lot of society's conventional beauty standards is racism. You know, why does becoming prettier mean having a smaller nose? Why does becoming prettier mean having lighter eyes? Sounds like the R word, and I'm not talking about Rascal Flats, don't get excited. Anyways though, everyone anyone labeled an ugly in this movie could still make my body dysmorphia start ringing like a bell. It's ridiculous. But you know, I've seen people defend this decision by saying, that's the point. The point is that they're not actually ugly. They just think they're ugly. However, here's some food for thought. First of all, Book Tally is not described as having, air quotes, attractive features. Here's a quick excerpt from the book, okay? Her thin lips pursed with unhappiness. Her hair grew even frizzier because she kept running her hands through it in frustration. A trio of zits exploded across her forehead, as if marking the days since her 16th birthday. Her watery, too small eyes glared back at her, full of anger. Now, do I see anything wrong with this description? No. But is it a far cry from Joey King's perfect hair and flawless skin? Yeah, dude, and not to rant about this too much, but this issue isn't unique to the Uglies. Even in books like Harry Potter, for example, Hermione is described as having overly bushy hair and too large front teeth.
In the novels, we are often reminded of Hermione's large front teeth and big frizzy hair.
Whereas, obviously, in the adaptation, there's a perfectly adorable Emma Watson playing her. Like, movies really are so scared to make people flawed. But okay, secondly, Scott Westerfeld himself has said that over the years, fans of the book have asked him why there isn't a movie yet.
Like every time I go into a bookstore, someone will ask, when's there going to be an Uglies movie? Why hasn't there been an Uglies movie?
And his response was always this.
You know, I had this joke that I would tell, which is that whenever it gets to the highest person in Hollywood who has to sign the $100 million check, they say, wait a minute, you want to make a movie about ugly people? And it's just like the ethos of the book and the ethos of Hollywood don't match.
And here we are in 2024, the fans finally got their movie, but still no ugly people. Or even just like average people, okay? These are like literal models. This is all to say that Scott Westerfeld's point ironically still stands. Like, at least put one person in this movie that looks like they eat chalk. Cast me! But I'm getting ahead of myself, okay? Everyone in this society refers to the transformation simply as becoming pretty. And before you undergo your yassification at age 16, you're forced to live in a place called Uglyville. Yes, that's actually what it's called. And while you're a resident here, you are completely segregated from the pretties of Prettyville. The conditions of Uglyville are sort of like if a sad beige mom made an entire city. Like, they're stuck wearing plain dorm uniforms, there's no RGB lights, there's no Freddy, there's no Chica. It's horrible. The kids are also encouraged to insult each other's appearances. Like, each and every one of them has a mean nickname that they're supposed to call each other. Names like Big Ugly or Your Mama's So Ugly. However, this just sounds like the average high school experience to me. There's also giant TVs on everyone's walls that display an AI-generated, like, hypothetical version of themselves with the goal to, you know, like, get them pumped up for their surgery. And this is actually the first thing that we see Tally doing in the movie. She's looking into her Lord Farquaad mirror and telling it to make her look pretty.
Mirror, make me pretty.
Sure, Tally. This is Morpha version 732.
So this is what people have been referring to as the bold glamour filter, but to me, this is kind of worse. Like, it reminds me of anyone above the age of 40 who uses Instagram. God, I'd love to know what the boardroom discussion was for this decision. Okay, team, what do we want the pretties to look like in this movie? Well, I think we should go for a bold, sort of sinister look. Possibly one that glamorizes the healing process of such an invasive surgery. Well, I think they should look like me. But you're wearing a filter. No, I'm not. I don't even go on TikTok, okay? Who said anything about TikTok? Wait, she's onto something. This would save us so much money. We already spent $40 million to get Joey King to stop being problematic on Instagram. Wait, I thought we already paid her in Happy Meal. No. I think this mirror concept could have actually been interesting if the improved version of her in the mirror was kind of uncanny, and then later on in the movie when she looks at herself in the mirror again, it gets slightly more uncanny, then slightly more uncanny, without her even realizing until it looks like this thing. But there's just truly not an ounce of creativity to this. It's like Black Mirror for people who own 12 Stanley Cups. Does that make sense? I don't care. Check
Did you
this
know
out.
if you sniff pizza too much, your nose might think it's pizza? Pizza smells trick your nose into pizza thinking.
So something that I couldn't help but notice about Tally's dorm room is that it's actually pretty nice. Like, this cinder block high-rise she's living in is worth like $5,000 a month in California. And you know, I know living in a soulless biome is not ideal, but the living conditions of being an ugly are just not as crazy as you'd think they'd be. Like, they basically just live in penthouses until they're 16, and then they get to look hot and party for the rest of their lives. They don't even have to brush their teeth, okay? They got a pill for that.
1 toothbrush pill.
Compare this to like the Hunger Games, where some dude has to throw you a piece of bread in the mud just so you won't die. But anyways, Tally receives a message from someone named Nose, and he's all like, "What you doing, big head? Come outside." And so she scales a fucking 9/11 sized building to go hang out with him.
Yep, got it. There it is.
We find out this guy's real name is Paris, which should be illegal, by the way, because there shouldn't be any capital cities. That causes divide, remember? So Nose is, of course, his ugly name. And we learn that he's actually the one who gave Tally her fugly nickname, aka Squint.
Squint. Nose and squint. I like it.
Because I guess she has squinty eyes? This is canon in the book, but in the case of the movie, it doesn't really make any sense because are these not just standard big eyes? The only person squinting is me, okay? I'm squinting at the squinting allegations. After this, Tally and Nose proceed to spy on the pretties in their biome using 3D glasses.
Wish I was there so much it hurts.
This is what it feels like to be a YouTuber who lives over an hour from LA, by the way. But we learn that Nose is going in for his yass surgery tomorrow, meaning it's gonna be his 16th birthday, an age that feels totally normal and not creepy at all for the government to make you hot. The two of them flirt a little bit, but then Tally says something fucked up to him.
No matter how beautiful they make you, the ghost of that giant nose will haunt you forever.
Yeah, no matter how pretty you look, you're doomed to look like a deep sea fish to me. I will always see you as someone who has severe blobfish face. It's heavily insinuated that Tally and Nose have a crush on one another, but they do the thing where both characters get cut off before they have the chance to admit it.
Maybe you and...
That was really close. We should go.
So since Tally is younger than Nose, she has to wait 3 months before seeing him again, because there is a 0 contact policy between the uglies and the pretties. So they promise each other that they'll meet up in 1 month, illegally, in Prettyville at a bridge just outside the city, and that he'll text her when he can. And you know this promise is very real because we see a flashback where they cut their palms with a broken iPad screen and then they dap each other up. The scar, of course, then representing that they are oomphs forever.
Best friends forever.
The next day, aka the morning of Nose's surgery, him and Tally go to their school's auditorium. And it's here that Tally overhears other ugly kids talking about their schoolmates running away to somewhere called the Smoke.
You saw them, Skinny? They really ran away to the Smoke yesterday.
Which makes me picture a smoke shop that sells Rick and Morty bongs, but alas, that is not what it is. Before Tally can learn more, Dr. Cable, played by Laverne Cox, shows up as a hologram. And oh my god, she looks so There's even wind blowing through her holographic hair. Let me tell you, if you haven't seen Orange is the New Black, you are not familiar with Laverne Cox's game. But just know that it's really odd to see her, an Emmy-nominated actress, on the premises of the Uglies. Dr. Cable explains that this surgery is gonna make them all perfect inside and out.
You'll be beautiful and free from hatred and discrimination based on the way that you look.
And then she calls tomorrow's pretties to come forward.
Will tomorrow's pretties please come forward?
Literally 2 people get up to do this. This surgery happens on people's independent birthdays. So like, do they just do a school assembly every single day and then it's just for like one person? What is happening? Anyways, once Tally says goodbye to Nose, we're soft launched into meeting her lesbian friend named Shay, who immediately asks her if she has a boyfriend.
Hey. Boyfriend. Best friend.
And you may be thinking, surely there has to be a reason in the plot why she asks that. Nope, just gay.
Oh my god, who said that? Who y'all talking about?
Is it canon? No. Am I allowed to think it? Yeah, shut up, Thought Police. We then time jump to a month later, and has Tally received any texts from Nose since he left? Nose. Okay, but it's officially the day where they're supposed to meet up again. So regardless of getting ghosted, later that night, Tally jumps out of her 10-story window to meet Nose at the bridge. But when she gets there, he's nowhere to be found. So she grabs this random rope that's just swinging around, dangling from this bridge, and starts scaling it. Like, dude, I don't even think she needs the transformation. She's already parkour built. But she gets into Prettyville, and it's beautiful. It looks like the Club Penguin town square on a Saturday night. Everyone is doing a conga line, everyone's drinking martinis, everyone's dancing all like... And one of these pretties in the conga line drops this abhorrent, disgusting pig mask that is fueled by pink farts and estrogen, and it like Cinderella transforms her into a dress. Then she bumps into a woman who says,
Sorry. Hello, pretty.
"Hello, pretty," as if she isn't surrounded by pretties all the time. That's like me going outside and saying, "Hey, human. Hey, oxygen breather. Hey, Garfield." And I know I already kind of mentioned this, but the pretties genuinely do nothing. Like, all they do is this, but every single day. They don't have to worry about money, school, jobs. They just chill. Like, this place f***ing rules. I understand why everyone wants to be here. But Tally's looking around, right? And she finally finds Nose in a building called Garbo.
Paris?
This version of Nose, he's, different. Like, I don't know how they managed to whitewash a white person, but they sure did. But Tally is like, "Hey, it's me." And his reaction is like... as if she's like a rat in a grocery store, like, but what's really important is, does Nose remember their friendship just as he had promised?
What are you doing here?
Nose he did snot. This MF literally forgore everything they had talked about previously and calls her by her government name now.
Tally,
You call me Squint.
yeah.
And And much to Tally's alarm, the surgery also removed his iPad baby scar.
You promised me.
I woke up from surgery and then I realized I just didn't really want it anymore, Tally.
Although the evilification of Nose is purely a choice that the movie makes. Because in the book, his scar is also removed, but not by his own choice. To make matters worse, movie Nose tells Tally maybe they'll be friends in 2 months when she turns pretty.
We said best friends forever.
Maybe we will be. In what, 2 months?
But suddenly, in the middle of this discussion, a laser scans Tally's face. And an AI goes over the intercom to snitch on her being ugly.
An unwelcome individual has been detected.
This scene is also a departure from the ugly scripture, because in the book, Nose actually helps her escape, whereas here, he just watches her ugly ass run for her life. And Tally running through this crowd of pretties, of course, causes them to react as if she just released a fart more toxic than like Big Pharma. She books it towards the rooftop and grabs a bungee jacket, which is something that allows pretties to jump off of buildings and basically land on a bubble so they don't die, okay? So she jumps off, bounces off of this bubble, okay? Like, yay, she made it! But then... how did she absorb that shock? I think she may have actually bounced up higher than the building. But whatever, okay? Tally runs and she hides off in the darkness. But she drops a pebble into the water by accident, but this giant ass spaceship hears it and says,
"You fat bitch."
Kidding, just kidding, okay? The helicopter would never say that. But just when you think something's gonna happen, maybe she's gonna get blasted to smithereens, her gay friend appears on a hoverboard to rescue her. The two of them fly off on her hoverboard and land in the grass, giggling and smiling and having a conversation that I can only describe as would have been romantic if not for homophobia in 2005. Like, if this was a guy and a girl, there is nothing on this earth that would stop it from being a meet cute. They then proceed to get to know each other with fireworks in the background.
The party, the city, all of it.
Like, are you kidding me? But the two of them discover that they have the same birthday, so they'll be able to do their transformation together. When her and Shay get back to school / prison, Shay begins to teach her how to hoverboard.
These like work for like, once you get going, the crash bracelets work.
Which is almost exactly identical to the book, only this one has visually stunning CGI.
2, 1.
Anyways, the hoverboard is very important, so just remember that. This same day, 3 girls come walking up to them, waving a book all around, and raving about how good it is. This part is just confusing to me though, because books are illegal in Uglyville.
Is that a book?
So them just waving it out in the air is like so crazy. And the concept of book banning is super common in dystopian novels, but all of the other ones I can think of have very severe consequences for violating that rule. The most obvious example, Fahrenheit 451, you can literally get executed. And my problem with this is that a lot of elements in this book come from zero sense of urgency, which simply leaves me not giving a f. The book is definitely better with this concept because it's simply implied. But you know, hear me out, okay? Let me get up on my soapbox. What if one of Tally's and Shay's friends disappeared mysteriously before their 16th birthday, and they just so happened to be the last person to have received this book they're all reading? This could lead to so many interesting scenarios and also convey just how bad this thing is considered in their society and what it even means to take such a risk. Everything feels so lackluster, like even even with that giant helicopter. Exactly. What is the point? If you get arrested, it doesn't f***ing matter. This concept feels purely here to allude and piggyback off of much better pieces of content. I'm sorry. But back at Tally's dorm room, she goes on an actual eugenics maxing, looks maxing spiel to Shay.
Symmetry is overrated. No, it's not. It's an indication of health. We're biologically programmed to prefer it.
But Shay is like, shut the f*** up, let me show you something actually cool. All while the most on-the-nose song choice plays. After she's done doing these sick flips and tricks though, the two of them talk about how tomorrow is their birthday and how Tally is so excited to enjoy her new life.
I can't believe we finally get to start our lives tomorrow.
Meanwhile, Shay is very clearly not.
Would it be so bad not to do it?
Shay, don't talk that way. We have to.
Would it be so bad not to do it? And Tally's like, yeah, what do you want to like become old?
Become all moldy and crinkly?
And Shay's like, yeah girl, having wrinkles is cool.
I think age lines are kind of cool. No, you don't.
Shay reiterates that she does not want the surgery and that she wants to go smoke.
Maybe I'd go to the smoke.
Which we learn is apparently a legendary civilization that lives outside of both Prettyville and Uglyville. And it's a place where you don't get pretty and use leaves for toilet papers. Tally says she doesn't even believe the smoke is real, which causes Shay to suddenly and mysteriously ride away after saying,
meet me at the Greenbelt in 2 hours. No, wait, why? What are we doing? One last trick.
Later that day, Tally shows up and reluctantly follows Shay outside of the city to a rusty, deceased roller coaster. And when they get to the top, Shay teaches her the basics of Minecraft survival mode.
Flint and steel. Bang them together, they spark.
She tries to convince Tally to not get this surgery and to go smoke with her. I mean, join the smoke with her.
I want you to come with me.
And tries to reassure her that she's met the leader here before, and his name is David.
Shay, who are you calling?
David.
And this guy, David, he's like, free bird, yeah. So you can trust him. Shay continues to try to convince her, but to be honest, all of her points kind of suck.
And there are no morphos or tablets.
I like tablets and I like morphos.
You heard her. I like morphos and tablets. You know what? Maybe Tally was born to smoke vapes and go on Instagram, okay? Please be considerate of that.
Everyone is exactly who they're born to be. They're free. I don't want to be free. I want to be pretty.
Now let me tell you guys, this line is so deep, but sadly, only a small portion of people will understand it. None of this is, of course, convincing enough for Tally. So Shay accepts defeat, but gives Tally a map with a secret code for her, just in case she changes her mind. The following day, aka her birthday, she's literally in the yassification waiting room, and one by one, all these other uglies are getting called in for their operation, except her. And instead, she gets abducted by an Uber driver sent by Dr. Cable. And this ride is just as awkward as any Uber.
Would you tell me where we're going, please?
Tally's talking to herself and the driver's just ignoring her.
Because if this is about the bungee jacket thing, then I can explain that.
How are you gonna incriminate yourself like that, man? Is this about that thing with the gorilla at the zoo? Because I can explain. Anyways though, she meets Dr. Cable, who questions her about Shay's disappearance.
I'm Dr. Cable. Please come in.
But Dr. Cable is just as manipulative as she is gorgeous. So she tells Tally that she needs to give up any information that she has about her whereabouts.
We believe she's been brainwashed by a man named David.
Because not only is the smoke and David dangerous,
he gets people to trust him and then holds them against their will. Help us.
But she's also not gonna let her get her pretty surgery if she doesn't.
The sooner you do, the sooner we can get to your procedure.
And surprisingly, Tally doesn't snitch.
I wish I could help. You're gonna send me back to the dorms?
Only until you can help. Just try to remember.
which results in her going back to school where everyone knows she shouldn't be there because of that stupid class assembly they do every day. But to Tally's surprise, later that night, Nose shows up to her dorm dressed like Jeremy Fragrance.
Today I did not jerk off before my video, which I normally do.
So she eagerly runs up to the window and lets him in, but oh so conveniently, all of a sudden he now remembers both her nickname and their friendship.
Oh my gosh.
You just had to do it different, huh, Squint?
Suspicious. But he's basically like, you need to tell Dr. Cable what's going on so you can get your surgery already and come be with me. Ah, you smell so good. Ah, I'm Jeremy. The final nail in the coffin for her to fess up, though, is when he reiterates that Shay might be in danger.
Besides, it sounds like she's in actual danger. You're not breaking your promise if she needs help.
And if that's the case, Tally is the only person that can help. So the following day, she goes to Dr. Cable and she snitches.
I'm glad you decided to help us, Tally.
Oh, but then Dr. Cable goes and throws a bombshell. Yes.
This man, David, the Smoke, they're developing a weapon to attack us.
She tells Tally that the government actually needs her to go on a secret ops mission. So her stinky little plan is as follows, okay? Step 1, Tally is to go find Shay so that they can rescue her. Step 2, find the weapon. And step 3, Dr. Cable gives her this pendant to put around her neck, and she's supposed to click it after she's found said weapon, okay? So Dr. Cable could then pull up in her G-Wagon and sort all of yas out herself. She's gonna be like, which one of yas took a shit? Okay, so Tally accepts this because she really has no choice unless she wants to live in her dorm room for the rest of her life and be a 45-year-old high schooler that just gets bullied every day. So she sets off on her journey. Despite all of Shay's directions for her to get to the Smoke being like literally designed to kill her, everything Shay tells her to do is go jump off a cliff. Go fall to the ground until you think your skull is gonna crack open. If there's not piss in your pants by the end of this journey, you've done things wrong. But the rest of her surviving in the wilderness for a few days before finding the Smoke is incredibly short here, which I was grateful for because in the book, in this baby, oh my god, there must have been over 10 chapters of Tally just walking around in the woods, okay? I was listening to this in the car on a road trip and I fell asleep looking like this. I'm sorry, Scott Westerfield, but I can't support you on this one. The movie also strangely forgets Tally's entire character history. She's like never been outside, okay? She's never been in nature. She's not gonna know how to just survive in here. She's not gonna just calmly be chilling, okay? She's gonna freak out. She's gonna be like, ah, I broke a nail, okay? Respectfully and understandably. There was no way in hell this is just a big casual event. Meanwhile, we see Dr. Cable at her Doofenshmirtz building. And surprise, surprise everyone! We find out Nose was working for her when he went up to her bedroom to try and convince her to rat out Shay. And you know, I'm so shocked I'm shaking. Brr, brr. More importantly, okay, he admits that he's feeling feelings, specifically for Tally.
When I saw her, the strangest thing happened. I started feeling things.
Dr. Cable is not fazed by this though, and she quickly sends him into a surgery pod for a double yassification.
There are always a select few who need more. I can make you very special.
And this surgery seems a bit more Dr. Octopus coded, so you know it's getting serious. And we actually later learn that any pretties who still have core memories or feelings are given this same second surgery, which is designed to make them more powerful, okay? And these are called the special pretties. After this though, we cut back to Tally on her journey, and she's lying in a field of white tiger orchids when suddenly they catch on fire and she wakes up like, ah, what do I do? But right as she's panicking, she's saved by this little guy who's wearing steampunk glasses. And we find out that this is...
I'm David.
David leads her to an outpost where the members of the Smoke plan on vetting her to see if she's chill enough to come to the actual smoke zone. And it's here where Tally finds Shay, who is just chilling, you know, perfectly fine, not abducted, living that life.
Tally?
And Shay is shocked to see Tally there, like almost too shocked. Oh, haha, you made it over those cliffs. I mean, I knew you could do it. Okay, seriously, how are you alive? But anyways, the two of them share a tent later that night, and Shay immediately asks her where she got her new necklace.
So you're gonna tell me about that necklace?
Because as you can see, she's just wearing this huge ass necklace like out on top of her shirt. There's no rules for her to have it out or anything. Like, she's just choosing to be stupid. Of course someone's gonna ask about it. So she of course has to lie. Tally quickly starts sounding like a conspiracy theorist to Shay though. She's like, there's something not right going on here. Something weird about David.
There's something about this place, Shay. It's not what it seems.
He's into steampunk. He looks like the little guy from Oh, I don't know. Do you remember that movie, Shay? Her strange attitude obviously makes Shay very suspicious and correctly comes to the conclusion that Tally is up to something.
Did you come here to try to bring me back?
Tally admits that she did in fact come there to rescue Shay, but leaves out a few minor details.
If you want to be pretty, Tally, go be pretty.
Wait, just wait. Maybe I just need some more time.
Like the fact that Dr. Cable sent her and that she's also looking for a bioweapon. Oh, and that she has her on speed dial to come blow this place up whenever she wants. Shay doesn't give two shits about her rescue mission though.
You need to leave.
She wanted that Barbie in the Diamond Castle life with Tally. So she's like, figure it the f out, dude. You can stay here, but you need to either choose the smoke or choose being pretty.
This is what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna tell them about this. It's our secret. But you have to get to know these people.
And you need to do it ASAP. Now, you might be wondering at this point, what the fuck does the smoke actually even do? And that's a great question. But the answer is quite stupid, so please bear with me. Basically, the Smokies, as they're called, fly around the earth in a helicopter and use giant flamethrowers to light the white tiger orchids on fire. Because apparently, as they explain, they're an invasive species that are destroying all other things, you know, like plants and other trees. Can you look up if white tiger orchids are real? Which is the real reasons why humans can't inhabit these parts of the planet anymore. And they're forced to live in the Uglies, Pretties domes. They all look super snide about this, by the way. Like, yeah, I did that. Yeah. My question though is that isn't lighting plants on fire also kind of bad for the planet? I don't know. Shrug. And are we supposed to be surprised evil government create evil plants that doesn't like planet? No. Do we use less word to create less sentence than normal person? Yeah. Well, they're showing Tally their arsonist ways though. Something in the helicopter springs out and pushes Shay out the door to her death. Okay, I'm just kidding about her dying, but she literally has no parachute, doesn't slide down the rope, she just free falls like 300 feet onto the ground. There's really no reason that shouldn't have killed her, but either way, Tally grabs onto a rope, you know, she slides on down, she's diving in after her, I'm gonna save her. But when she gets down there, there's these big ass government helicopters flying around. And they even send one of the special pretties in a Tron suit to try and abduct them. They get pulled up just in time, but the fact that the pretty police are showing up now right after Tally joins them makes the Smokies even more suspicious.
I just want to know how the scouts found us. Right after Miss Solo here makes her journey. Are you sure you don't have any help?
But David vouches for her and says,
"You're right that we don't know about Tally, but I just saw her risk her own life to save someone who we all care about."
So for that reason, the Smokies continue their inauguration even though Tally is like the shadiest person in existence. They even decide to take her to the official base camp the next day.
Welcome to the smoke.
But anyways, Shay is the only person who knows Tally is still considering whether or not she's gonna stay or leave. So she starts talking about why living on a compound, you know, the good old American soil, and fighting for survival is so awesome.
We grow our own food, but you'll be surprised how much better it tastes when you grow it yourself.
And what feels like is supposed to be one of her most convincing reasons is this.
Everyone has to work. Even our elders.
Yeah, we work here until we die. No retirement. Hey, get back to work, Grandma! And just when I thought this movie couldn't get any more gay, Tally starts carrying around Shay on her back. Since this movie is boring as f*** though, it's time to introduce the male love interest that has no chemistry with the main character. Tally and David start a romance. Thankfully, it's only about 5 minutes of the movie, and their relationship develops from this one trope, like I don't know what to call it, but it's basically when a male love interest gets like super impressed by a girl who does like boyish things and can handle getting like dirty. Like, whoa, you can shoot a bow and arrow? You can hit a little hammer on our great railroad of our time? You can eat a spicy pickle? This city girl is skilled.
You never quit, do you?
At the end of this 5 minutes though, David gifts Tally some gloves. And when Shay sees that this happened, she gets mad at her because what's his name again?
I think his name was David or something.
She thinks this symbolizes that he likes her.
Wait, he gave them to you? People think really hard about the gifts they give. He likes you.
Because, like, this isn't just a gift from, like, Spencer's gift shop, Tally, okay? He actually made that. And those are for courtship. Now, in the book, this is a lot different because Shay isn't just mad about, like, some pair of gloves, because she also has a crush on David. So she feels jealous, and there's this whole love triangle in here where she feels betrayed by Tally. But back to the movie, okay? This is Shay's last straw.
Choose the smoke, don't choose the smoke. But it's not fair to me or anyone else for you to have 1 foot in and 1 foot out anymore.
You gotta stay at the smoke or you gotta go home and be pretty, okay? This is not a freaking game. He made you gloves. Stop playing with his heart. So she's telling her like it is. Meanwhile, Joey King is just standing there like a confused puppy at the pound, trying to look sad so the director of Kissing Booth 4 can pick her up again. So while Tally contemplates all this, she goes on a walk with David and he takes her home to his parents because things are getting serious.
David!
Tally, these are my parents.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Tally thinks we have a weapon.
I'll put the kettle on.
But a lot of lore gets dumped here. So listen up. 20 years ago, David's parents helped create the yassification surgery.
Before the smoke, they were doctors.
Cosmetic surgeons working for the state.
But his father began trying to create a safer way to do this because people were dying.
We were seeing several deaths a year.
This is information not released to the public. No one knows that anyone died from it.
People have died from it?
But what was even more disturbing to them was that these people that died had lesions on their brain.
That's when I first noticed this pattern of lesions in the brain.
Which pretty much means, and you've already guessed it I'm sure, the pretties have all been lobotomized. Which of course explains how they all live so peacefully as himbos and bimbos. However, as soon as his parents figured this out, Dr. Cable pulled up to their house and stole all of their research. Which is when they realized
the lesions were not a side effect of the surgery, they were the purpose.
And it's finally revealed that this weapon that the smoke has is actually a reversal serum for the surgery to de-lobotomize these people's brains.
When the two are combined properly, we'll be able to heal the lesion. It would be the ultimate weapon against Dr. Cable.
Would this work? I don't know, I'm not a lobotomologist. So Tally is upset by this and she goes, Dr. Gable lied? Why would would they do that?
But why would Cable do that?
To control us.
You know what I'm confused about though, Tally? Why would the government want to waste a bunch of money not only on plastic surgery, but beer and fireworks every night just for these lobotomized people who contribute nothing to society? Like, the government is taking care of them on their dime with pretty much zero benefits except there not being war, which does not make sense for a government because they always profit off of war, right? And like, I know this isn't based off of reality, but just what? Regardless though, this causes Tally to change her mind about everything. She does not want to snitch anymore, so she throws her pendant into the fire. However, the next morning, Dr. Cable and the Special Pretties invade their camp because apparently Tally's pendant accidentally activated itself when she threw it into the fire? Question mark? Like, how did the fire push the button? That's actually not how that works, but whatever, okay? We're at the climax, CLIMAX. We're supposed to feel the tension, hopefully, although this was all caused by her malfunctioning jewelry. Honestly, what has me the most upset about this, though, is that Dr. Cable showed up to the woods herself in the flesh. Why would this woman with a whole evil operation to run take time out of her day for this? But anyways, this is the first time that we actually see a Special Pretty up close, as we see Nose has clearly gotten the quadruple blur filter bypass. And I have to give Scott Westerfeld some credit here where credit is due, because in the books, the Special Pretties are definitely a lot more scary looking, whereas here they just look stupid. Why Netflix chose to adapt a book that at its core, really, if you think about it, is body horror, but then not include anything body horrific is kind of, I don't get it. But anyways, Dr. Cable is like, where is David?
Where is your son?
All of the Smokies are like rounded up in this big circle, and Dr. Cable goes, all of your surgeries have been booked.
All of your procedures have been scheduled.
Okay, and Nose, in his final, like, Giga Chad form, listens to the orders of Dr. Cable to ultimately kill David's dad. He grabs him and he snaps his neck, which is kind of crazy just because the way that he does it, like, I don't think I could show this on YouTube, so I won't, but it's basically like this. Like a chiropractor fucks you up more than that. But it's because of his dad's death that Tally ends up giving herself up.
You didn't tell me that you would hurt anyone.
After everyone is like, what the f, Tally? Dr. Cable destroys the laboratory that was containing the weapon in it. And then all the Smokies get abducted, except for Tally and David. Now, interestingly, unbeknownst to David, earlier, during all this commotion, his mom had slipped in the anti-bimboification serum right into his pants when he wasn't looking. So keep this in mind, but presently, he's not only dealing with his dad dying and his mom being mom-napped, he's also under the assumption that their entire life's work, you know, the serum, has also been destroyed. His whole life just got the 1-2 Mayweather, so he's in this cave. He's collecting all of his items that he has left and he's preparing to leave, presumably to look for those kidnapped Smokies. And so when Tally comes up into the cave behind him, he immediately gets up and holds a knife to her neck. Understandably. Like, she's a little audacious to even go talk to him right now, I will say. However, she explains that she was manipulated by Dr. Cable, and she didn't know that when she threw her pendant into the fire that it was actually gonna call them. It's because of this that he reluctantly accepts Tally's offer to help him find his mom and the rest of the Smokies.
You don't have to trust me. You just have to follow me.
And listen, I know this is a movie, and we can't take a lot of time to get into one character at this moment, but it feels incredibly rushed for him to agree on this mission with her without like more of a stubborn hesitation, given the fact that he just watched his father die in cold blood because of her. So regardless of the fact that he does indeed need help to go do this, their bond should not be strong enough for him to not tell her to go kick rocks. I'm gonna do this alone. But moving on, they travel together to Tally's school dorm, and there's zero security, and no one notices that they're there, even though they are literally fugitives at this point. In fact, the two of them don't even attempt to hide. Tally just casually approaches some of Shay's friends who were interested in joining the smoke.
We heard the smoke was destroyed. Ann and I lit the flame in the ruins 2 days ago. No one came.
And they're just gagged to see David. They're like, what? He's real? Oh!
You don't exist.
Don't hurt me. Whoa, you're David, that's David.
I'm David.
Guys, directors, producers of the movie, can we take the stakes of the plot seriously for one moment? Where is the sneaking around? Where is the bonking on the heads of security guards like in Shrek? Ba-boom. Where is the mystery of how do we contact Shay's friends? How are we gonna do this? Did they really just peek around the first wall that they found of the school, and boom, the kids are just magically there? Hi! Oh my god! But so they tell these kids to recruit as many ugly ass people as possible. As many ugly ass people as possible to create a big distraction so that Tally and David can break into Dr. Cable's Doofenshmirtz factory.
I need you guys to gather as many kids as you can and create a diversion.
And then Tally says something that makes my blood boil.
Okay.
You want to be rebels? Today's your day. The smoke lives. Write it in the sky. Come on.
Something about this reminds me of that one scene from Ginny and Georgia. So then this really annoying music starts playing.
I don't need lessons. I do what I want. It's refreshing.
As all of the uglies use their hoverboards to write out the phrase, "The smoke lives out of fire in the sky." And despite literally no one giving a about this, it's enough of a distraction for Tally and David to follow a helicopter into this tiny little like butthole portal. Okay, it's not that tiny. So they jump off of their hoverboards and using bungee jackets. Where did they get them? Doesn't make any sense, but they use them, they jump onto a bubble, and they get into this prison facility where they encounter one special pretty who David quickly punches in the throat and then they throw him in a closet like ba-boom. Not a problem at all. And about, I don't know, 2 seconds later, they find all of the Smokies in one prison cell, lemonade mouth style. They're all just locked in there together.
Yes, I'm fine. Go. Come on, you guys. Come on.
But they quickly open this up, okay? All of the Smokies stampede out, and it seems as if this has been a successful rescue mission. That is until Tally is informed that Shay just got taken into surgery.
Where's Shay?
They took her to surgery.
No.
Which is kind of funny because no one else from the smoke got the procedure, and she was probably the one the most against it. There's like 20 surgery pods, by the way, so why did they only send one of them down the baddie pipeline? Anyways, though, they run to the operating room to try and stop her from getting the surgery, but it's too late. Harry Styles already sacrificed his beauty and gave it all to her. And Shay is hot as fuck. Like, this actress is kind of everything. I'm giving it my all to keep it together. She's 26 years old, by the way. I swear I'm not creepy. I mean, even Tally is gagged by her transformation.
Tally, breathe.
Literally. Honestly, this fucking rocks. I want to be stupid and hot. That's like the best combination. You're so stupid, you don't have to worry about anything. You leave all the worrying up to other people, all while having that earth-shattering dump truck. Anyways though, Gigatron Nose appears once again and watches as Dr. Cable puts them all into surgical chambers. But at the very last second, this bald guy from the smoke appears in a helicopter ready to flamethrow the hell out of this building, causing Dr. Cable to go dead in her tracks and say, He then proceeds to blow it up, killing everyone inside. No, just kidding, but seriously, how do none of them have 4th degree burns from this? So they've escaped this procedure in the nick of time, and they run on top of the building where they find Nose, just standing there, looks-maxing, menacingly, and in the film's sad, desperate attempt at symbolism, he has glass shattered into his hand where his old scar used to be. So Tally walks up to him and she tries to speak some sense into him. She's like, look at me, I'm over here. Oh, sorry, that's the kissing booth.
Stop! Look at me.
But she's reminding him of the fun times they've had, and this actually appears to be working. But David gets kind of triggered by his father's death, you know, because he sees him wrapping his arm around her neck a little bit, and he's like, oh shit. He's about to go full chiropractor mode on her, so he launches into an attack on Nose. And they get into a crazy, like, tumbleweed battle to the point where Nose is hanging off the building with one arm, okay? Classic Lion King. And for some reason, only at the last second before falling off, he remembers Tally again, calling her Squint.
Squint.
He then proceeds to fall directly into the ocean, sleeping with the fishes as we mob bosses call it. After this, David finds out that he has the serum in his pants and that his mom went snooping around through Dr. Cable's laboratory and she found this one last, like, special, secret Krabby Patty formula. She needed to be that last piece of the puzzle where she can de-lobotomize everybody's brains.
I grabbed the nanosynth from Cable's lab, so I think I can complete the formula now.
So Tally suggests they put this together and they give it to Shay, since she's always expressed that she never wanted this surgery and would hate becoming a pretty. But Shay's all like, I don't want to be cured.
But I don't want to be cured.
And it's just so stupid because everybody is like shocked and awed of this. They're like, oh, what? She doesn't want to be ugly again? Of course she doesn't. That's what the lobotomy does. Think about it. She's been brainwashed into loving her new bod. Don't you get it? One of the other Smokies suggests that they just forcibly take Shay with them and make her take this serum. But then David's mom is all like, we can't give her the serum without her consent.
Honey, we are not gonna perform medical experiments on an unwilling subject. That's the difference between us and them.
Get that girl, the surgery was against her consent. She's only rejecting the cure now because she's got sexy brain rot. And just when you think this couldn't get any more ridiculous, Tally decides to volunteer as tribute. And she's like, I'll turn pretty and then you could give me the serum.
I'll do it. I'll be your test subject. They'll turn me in, and then you'll turn me back.
Like, ma'am, are you not also just going to get brainwashed? And then you're not gonna want it either. That's the whole point of the lobotomy!
Maddie, please. Jay can't choose anymore, but I can.
Bitch, how many times can you tell me like the thousands of times that Shay said she didn't want the surgery? Like, bro, the whole plan makes zero sense. Bitch, so for real. We can all see where this is going now though, and spoiler, Tally turns herself in and gets the procedure.
Tally Youngblood! Make me pretty.
I have to get plastic surgery and look sexy. I guess I'll do it for the better of humanity though. So she gets this procedure, and this is the f*** of it all, dude. This is the moment, okay, where I said enough.
Just to prove I have good lungs, bow down to the new empire.
After having watched this whole thing, I can safely say that this is the equivalent of Netflix plopping their penis out of their pants, humiliating themselves, and scarring everyone around them. For why they did it is mystery. Now, my final thoughts on the book are as follows, okay? I think Scott Westerfeld had a very, very interesting concept, and I give him credit for how imaginative this is and how passionate he seems about it. And at the end of the day, this is a book for teens, so I can't hate on it too much. The characters and settings are pretty interesting, but I find just a lot of the writing to be very, very goofy. Like, even on the very first page of this book, I have like 20 things highlighted. Just to give you just a quick example, I don't have time to go over all of this because I know this video is already going to be long, but the very first line in the book is, "The early summer sky was the color of cat vomit." Of course, Tally thought, you'd have to feed your cat only salmon flavored cat food for a while to get the pinks right. Which, just from reading that, I can tell this guy has never had a cat. Like, I truly don't think Scott Westerfeld has ever seen cat vomit. I really don't, okay? I have 2 cats. I have never seen any of them puke up pink vomit. I don't know why he said that. And the same goes for a lot of other kind of strange, awkward descriptions. But you know what, Scott? You're all right with me. I think this is a little silly, but it's okay. I support the fans out there. My heart goes out to you for this horrible movie that they've made out of it. But I think that's all I have for you today, my friends. Before I go, I just wanted to let you know that I have been working on Jeffree Star Part 3. I know so many people are asking me about it, and I plan to get that out to you in the next 2 weeks. I hear you, I see you, I promise it's coming. Life has just been really crazy this month. I got engaged. Hello, comment farming, say, congratulations, whoa! Thank all of you so much for watching. I appreciate you very much. Now it's time for me to give special thanks though to my patrons. Starting with the base nerd tier, we got Araceli Lara, Yuri Plesenko, Shay, Halo Finn, WY, Tacky, Ava W, Casey Humble, Saswan Ajuri, Ronan, Marie File, Pop Smats, Max, Manny Morelia, Frankie, Ashley Green, Ainsley, Lauren, Alessandra Argon, Ruby Femme, Baby Linny, Steph P, Ashtray, Polar Bear, Christine, Zayla Bobela, Grand Peepus, Grandin, Reno Rabbit, Forrest, Cat K, Rachel Stanley, Cooking with Silence, Nug, Supernova, Dom Sod, Bioket, and Emise. Now moving on to the cool nerd tier. Drew, May, Big Baby 826, Joaquin Alator, Xanth, Rat, Emily, Brooke, Marley, Kirby, Roy Salgado, and Twihard336. Thank you all so much, and I will see you guys very soon.